And they get so many things right, so many things, that it really seems like the Simpsons work with some kind of supernatural force that transcends the nature of space-time. We already know very well that The Simpsons stopped being a fictional series a long time ago. They're not just a cartoon, but it seems like they're actually the true dark architects of our reality. Because more and more images from old episodes of The Simpsons have been appearing on the internet that, for some reason, depict the future exactly and in every detail. Like how this future will happen, the exact way this future will happen. How they do it, nobody knows, but they always get it right. So much so that nowadays people don't even watch The Simpsons for fun anymore. They do watch The Simpsons to find out what's going to happen in the future. There are even, believe it or not, experts in The Simpsons prophecies. But Carol, what do you mean by expert? What's this all about? Well, these experts, if I can call them that, are people who study the Simpsons episodes, notice the symbols, notice the subliminal messages, and these people, these experts, they've already made a sort of list of what they believe will actually happen in 2025 according to the Simpsons. And they get so many things right, so many things, that it really seems like the Simpsons work with some kind of supernatural force that transcends the nature of space and time. Well, I'm Carol Capel. You know very well, your favorite alien from the future. Everyone is very welcome to another video that starts now here on this channel. By the way, speaking of the channel, if you're not subscribed to the new channel yet, the Shorts channel, I recommend you subscribe, because over there, the mysteries happen in real time. In short, once something is released, I have already recorded, posted, and shared it online. So the link is up here in the cards and down here in the description. And the link will also appear on the end screens of this video. Just click and become a part of it. And besides that, you can also become part of our huge and rapidly growing community of members here on the channel. That's right, members have exclusive access to comment during live streams. There are live streams just for members, and I reply to all members' comments. So to become a member of this channel, you just need to click down here on Become a Member and come join us. So without further ado, let's get to the Simpsons predictions for 2025. The first prediction talks about a global scale environmental catastrophe, as if now in 2024 we weren't already in pretty complicated situations regarding the environment, but there's an episode that gives a warning about a huge global catastrophe. And this scenario was brought up in the Simpsons movie, not in the series. This movie was released in 2007. If you remember, in the movie, Springfield goes through a gigantic problem with an environmental catastrophe. The government then decides to put the entire city in quarantine, placing a huge glass dome and preventing people from leaving. In the movie, there isn't a specific date for such a catastrophe to happen, but the message of the movie is clear. Environmental negligence can lead to drastic consequences. And we can't deny that there has been a considerable increase in climate disasters in the world recently. Just in the United States, this year of 2024, there have been more than $15 billion in damages caused by climate events. And all over the world, catastrophic wildfires, even more catastrophic floods, like the devastating flood in Rio Grande do Sul and the one in Valencia, for example. We also had tornadoes, hailstorms, earthquakes, and droughts all over the planet. Anyway, you get that things are bad, right? You see the news out there and you know that all of this is real. Now, our second prophecy talks once again about the colonization of Mars. During season 27, in episode 16, Lisa becomes interested in going on mission number 1 to Mars. Lisa and Marge are then selected to help with the colonization of the Red Planet. The episode then jumps 35 years into the future and shows Marge and Lisa living peacefully on Mars. And with the topics we even discussed during the week of live streams that happened here in the past about Elon Musk and Donald Trump, it seems to me that this Simpsons episode is going to become reality at any moment because in the last decade, the main focus of SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, has been the colonization of Mars. But he still hasn't managed to do even 10% of the things he had promised by now, by the end of 2024. Even so, that doesn't change the fact that SpaceX has made progress in the field of space exploration. Elon Musk's idea is to actually send humans to colonize the red planet. His idea is to create a backup of Earth on Mars. And that's something that really worries me because after all, what does this elite group know to be so committed to creating a backup of planet Earth on another planet? What do they know is going to happen here that makes them so eager to accomplish this? Could this have something to do with those megalomaniac bunker constructions by billionaires all over the world? Well, I don't know, but our third prophecy has everything to do with so-called green energy. But more specifically with the suppression of green energy, recently we have seen some movements from planet Earth trying to make an energy transition, that is, to abandon those energy sources from the past and literally try to transform the way we produce and consume energy here on the planet. The idea then is to try to develop cleaner, more renewable, and more sustainable forms of energy. And we have a recent episode of The Simpsons titled Paths to Glory, which would be something like Paths to Glory. In this episode, Lisa is an inventor who builds a car powered by solar energy and takes part in a race with this little car. But a Duff beer blimp blocks the sunlight for a few seconds, causing her to lose the race. Some people are convinced then that this is meant to show us a plan to boycott or even suppress these more renewable, more sustainable and cleaner forms of energy. And in real life, oil companies like ExxonMobil aren't very happy with these advances in clean and renewable energy. After all, right, oil controls the world. These companies, mostly oil companies, are always concerned with pointing out flaws in products like cars that use some more sustainable energy source. What they're doing is a kind of negative advertising to try to convince consumers that this is a bad idea, thus suppressing the advancement of these more sustainable and clean energies. ExxonMobil even has a pretty viral ad that says, "Freedom doesn't mean being tied to a cable," making a reference to charging electric cars, which is really slow. The charging of electric cars is really slow. It's not satisfactory. It's not reliable, as we say in English, but at the same time, there has been progress. It's just that right now, at the present moment, ExxonMobil is actually right in what they're saying. Because right now, at the present moment, planet Earth can't handle this change, this transition to that kind of energy. A lot of progress needs to happen for this transition to take place. But at the same time that we need advances in these areas, there's also an exaggerated push for people to start consuming more of these products with more renewable energy, like an electric car, for example. Even though the facilities to charge these electric cars still aren't available in most countries on planet Earth. In other words, it's that same story. It's just more advertising to get people to spend more money on something that in the future they'll realize was a bad deal. So this push for more renewable energy already exists, but we still need to know if this will continue in 2025 in an even more aggressive way. Well, according to Simpson, yes, this will continue. Still talking about cars, there is a very big possibility that we will finally have flying cars in 2025. Real flying cars, you know? Like, when we imagined what the future would be like, we first thought that we would have flying cars. And we got to the future and those things didn't happen. Well, they haven't happened yet. They might happen now in 2025. There's an episode of The Simpsons from way back from 1992, and that episode is called It's in a Scratchy Land. In that episode, Bart and Lisa are able to see their futures thanks to a machine invented by Professor Frink. But in Bart's future, he's forced to spend all his savings on a flying car because in his future, that kind of vehicle was common. Recently, there's a girl called Super Blondie who shows off supercars. Yeah, she recently showed on her Instagram a kind of drone car that actually flies. There's also another company called Samsung Sky. That company has been on a mission to create flying cars since 2008. And everything suggests that they will launch the first flying car for civilians now, in 2025. And get this, there are already 1,600 pre-orders for this flying car from Samsung Sky. In other words, 1,600 people have already bought this flying car in the pre-sale. And this number I just gave you is current from October 2024. If you're watching this in December, more people have already bought it and that number has increased. So it's very likely that from now on, from 2025 onwards, we'll look up at the sky and actually see flying cars piloted by civilians. But the predictions The Simpsons made for 2025 about artificial intelligence and technology are the most absurd of all. One of them talks about holograms and mixed reality. It's a combination of reality and virtual reality. That kind of already happened now in 2024 with the failed launch of the Apple Vision Pro. There was a huge buzz at the launch, but I honestly didn't see anyone actually buying and using it. Because after all, it's a really clumsy technology, right? You end up with that wire hanging back here while you're seeing mixed reality anyway. It seems like it hasn't appealed to the public yet, and it looks like there was more buzz at the launch than actual interest in buying it. Besides, it's really expensive, pretty pricey, it's not affordable for everyone. Even celebrities tried to shove this thing down our throats, but so far it hasn't worked. But in any case, there's an episode of The Simpsons from 1995 called Homer the Great. In this episode, Homer is invited to join a secret society called the Stonecutters. And in this secret society, he's treated as a very important member, like a very important person member. And he meets a holographic version of himself. And now, in 2024, holograms are no longer fiction or invention. They are reality. And in fact, Microsoft is developing something they called HoloLens, which is a device that mixes reality with the digital world. It's something called a mixed reality device, very similar to the Apple Vision Pro. Now, whether all these businesses will succeed or not, we don't know because Apple has their device there, their glasses, right? Now, Microsoft is going to come and make Microsoft's glasses. But if nobody bought Apple's, why would people buy Microsoft's? Will it be cheaper? Will they be the ones to popularize this technology? We don't know. All we know is that The Simpsons have already predicted that this will become a reality, that holograms will become a reality, that this digital reality will mix with this physical reality, and this will be a new concept, the concept of mixed reality. According to The Simpsons, this will definitely happen, but it's not time for it to occur or for things to get real yet. But at any moment, things are going to get real. In any case, we'll keep watching to see what happens next. Besides that, there's also a 1994 episode of The Simpsons called Treehouse of Horror 5. And in that episode, The Simpsons warn about an apocalypse caused by artificial intelligence. And whoever watched my video on Wednesday saw that Yuval Harari said that this is very likely to happen. Well, in the series, Homer creates an artificial intelligence robot and it turns into real chaos because the artificial intelligences that were created to help start turning against humans. Now, already in 2024, these narratives about artificial intelligences are already very prominent and they will continue to be reinforced next year. Besides that, we are also seeing very specific cases of artificial intelligences that are disobeying their own creators and taking very strange actions. Just like I reported to you on my Instagram and on the Shorts channel, you saw that a Google artificial intelligence told a user, this user was asking Gemini, which is a Google artificial intelligence, how he could solve a certain problem in his community. And then Google told him, look, the artificial intelligence in question that said this is Gemini, which is a kind of chat GPT, a chatbot from Google. Now, we still need to find out if this artificial intelligence woke up to reality and realized that humans really aren't any good, or if it was programmed to do this, to generate more media attention for this product. Because after all, after chat generative pre-training, who even uses Gemini? Yeah, nobody. So they're kind of losing to the competition. So who knows if this whole story wasn't even planned to happen? Like a marketing strategy from Google. Well, coming from this planet, I don't doubt anything. Besides that, I also showed you a very strange experiment that happened in China where a programmed robot managed to convince all the other robots in a museum to stage a riot, quit their jobs, and leave. Did you see this case? Well, for those who haven't seen this case, I recommend taking a look at the Shorts channel or also at my Instagram profile to stay up to date with all these strange news stories that come out. But what about you? What did you think of the Simpsons prophecies for 2025? I think it's nothing we weren't already expecting, right? Well, comment down below everything you think about this. And for those who like magic words, we do have a magic word today, yes. Comment prophecy down below in the comments. And I'll see you all in our next videos. Bye.